The proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to Nicodemus, "Just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him might not perish, but might have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him. Whoever believes in him will not be condemned, but whoever does not believe has already been condemned, because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. And this is the verdict, that the light came into the world, but people preferred darkness to light, because their works were evil. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light, and does not come toward the light, so that his words might not be exposed. But whoever lives the truth comes to the light, so that his works may be clearly seen as done in God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel passage for this Sunday is taken from the Gospel of St. John. We have been reflecting on the great mercy of God for us, the mercy that saves us. Without the mercy of God, we would have been condemned and damned to eternal fire. But thanks to God's mercy, we have hope. In the first reading, the people of Judah have been described as unfaithful, all of them. But God did not get tired of being merciful to them. God, as it were, walked the extra mile, sending them messengers to bring them back to God. And when that failed, even giving them some sort of hardships so that they could be awakened. But no, they failed. But God was true to his promise. So at an appointed time, King Cyrus of Persia arose to power, and through him, the temple was restored, and the people also brought back home. God is loving. God does not enjoy seeing God's people deeply wallowing in sin, self-destruction, and death. That moves God. And even in God's justice and anger, his mercy will prevail. St. Paul in the second reading reflects on this. He describes God as rich in mercy. This God rich in mercy did not leave us dead in sin. He could have left us dead. That was our rightful punishment. But God offered something to his enemies, new life in Jesus. Not because we deserved it, not because we have done something to merit God's mercy. No, we do not deserve salvation. So St. Paul says, we are saved because God has been kind and merciful. But we have to do something, and that is faith. Faith. All of these themes are now highlighted in the Gospel. In Jesus' conversation with Nicodemus, this leader of the temple who was a secret admirer and believer of Jesus Christ and who interacted with Jesus only during nighttime, hiding from his companions, Jesus spoke to Nicodemus about new life coming from rebirth in water and the Spirit. And we hear from Jesus the beautiful words, God so loved the world, he gave us his only Son.
God so loved the world, he gave us
We Filipinos love this verse, for it is the opening line of that almost immortal World Youth Day 1995 song, no? During the visit of Pope John Paul II, and which rang incessantly during the visit of Pope Francis to the Philippines. What a beautiful reminder. God so loved the world, He sent His only Son. Rich in mercy, He sent His Son. Not to condemn the world, not to punish sinners, but to save us. Rich in mercy, God sees us so that we who are dead in sin will not be further condemned into death, but raised to new life. This is the message also of the gospel. And so we have the experience even now of new life, thanks to the love of God that comes in the form of mercy, patience, compassion. Central there is Jesus. Now, unfortunately, according to the gospel too, Jesus comes as the compassion of God, bringing the light of forgiveness, bringing the light of new life. This is already a prefiguration of the eternal light that is being offered in the resurrection. But people chose darkness. People prefer darkness. Why? Because in darkness, they can hide their sins, meaning they want to remain in sin. They want to remain dead. But the light of Christ will not be dimmed. Jesus will continue even when He is already lifted up on the cross. Only one thing is being asked. Look to Him who is lifted up. As the serpent in the desert during the time of Moses was lifted up, and people who looked up to the serpent were healed, this is the only demand. Look up to Jesus. Do not be afraid. He is the compassion and mercy of God. Do not be ashamed. He comes to heal. He comes to save and not to condemn. Choose His light. Do not choose darkness again. This is the reason why He came, to lead us to the light. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us not waste the gift of God's mercy and compassion, the offer of salvation. Choose light. Choose Christ. He may be, for our eyes, a judge. We are afraid of Him, but no. He is the light, the heart of God. And if we enter His heart, we will find salvation. Today is Laetare Sunday, the day where we rejoice, for it is true, the mercy of God knows no bounds. To what extent will God exercise His mercy? To the extent of His Son dying for us. Let us turn to Him. Let us look to Him. Let us believe in Him so that we may have eternal life. You know, Pope Francis even now, is already labeled as the Pope of Mercy. And why is that so? Not just because of the gospel message, but because of his own experience. You must have heard it. He says, I am a regular person. I am a sinner just like the rest. But he said, once he went to confession and experienced the mercy of God, and then he also saw this beautiful story depicted in a painting of the calling of Matthew, the tax collector, a great sinner, and the reflection. Jesus had mercy on him and chose him. A choice, a calling, which was not deserved, for the one being called is a sinner. Experiencing such mercy, you follow the light. You follow the light of the one who is merciful to you, taking you out of the darkness of sin. And that changes one's whole life. Imagine a simple Jorge Mario Bergoglio experiencing in the story of Matthew, experiencing in the confessional the light of God's mercy. Who would have thought at that time that he would one day be the Pope? The word has been exposed. Let us now fulfill it.